Grose. I was born in Moree on the 27th of October 1941. I was born and reared at the Deal Bridge campsite, where I lived till I was 19 years old. I then lived for a period of time on the common in Moree before going to the bush for 13 years to work on a property. Well, it was pretty good there. Those days we didn't have TV or anything to amuse us. We had to make up our own games to amuse ourselves, and we used to go over into wider field chasing rabbits, and me and the brothers would run around the river and playing Batman and Robin and jumping off the banks, thought we could fly. No, it was a pretty good life. It was tough. We didn't have a lot to eat at times, but we made it through, and there was a lot of golden syrup sandwiches made when we lived there, but it didn't harm me. My father was pretty tough on us. There was no mucking about. When he said to do something, we did it, or else.
So you connected to Moree for both your parents, Dad and Mum?
Yeah. My father was born here. Actually, my mother was born at Palomallawar, and I didn't really know it. She passed away when I was, before I started going to school. I was probably about 4 years old, and after a few years my father got into a relationship with Girlie Dennison, and they lived together for many years and had 2 sons, Raymond and Stephen Dennison.
Yep.
And she didn't last that much longer after Dad passed away, but she was a good stepmother.
You said that you moved over to the common area, which is another mission site for our people?
Yes.
How long did you live there? You married there and had children?
I got married when we were on the common. We went there, I suppose, I think it was late 59. Well, my wife was living there with her family, and we got married in 1961, and we lived on the common for 4 or 5 years, but I was working on the railway at Balata for 2 of those years, and came back to Moree, and I'd built a little hut there, and that Vi and I lived there till about 1968 or something like that, I think it was.
So your wife's a local girl?
No, my wife was born at Emerville.
Emerville.
In the
up towards Armidale.
No, out past Inverell.
Inverell, yeah, between. Yeah.
Her mother was nearly a full-blood Aboriginal. The father was Swedish, and they had a big family. There was nine in the family. My wife was the youngest, and in my family there were 6 girls and 3 boys. There's only 3 girls and 1 boy left now.
The Old Common, which is another mission, Moree. What's some of the other families' names that were there when you were there at the Common?
Well, I suppose one of the longest people there was a bloke with the name of Angus Kermond, and there was Johnsons, old Mrs. Johnson, Carl and Mickey Johnson, them's mother. She lived there for some time. Then Carl Johnson, Vic Johnson lived there, Ivan Johnson. Well, there's quite a number of people. Cooks and
Frenches and Weatheralls?
Frenches and Weatherall. They lived up the other end, a bit from where the main. Why they originally started that was there were people living on the banks of the river over behind the power station over here,
Yep.
and they moved them all down there. There was a number of Aboriginals living there at the time, and they moved down there with some other families. There was some new Australians and different nationalities. They all moved down there. Then they finished up quite a few Aboriginals living there at different times.
What about your education, Bill? Did you get much education back in those days?
Well, it wasn't through any fault of my father that I didn't. I went to third year in high school, but I never got my intermediate certificate. All I wanted to do was leave school and go to work, and I had a stupid idea, because my father was a professional punter, that I'd do that. It didn't take me long to wake up that I couldn't do what he did.
So, today I know you've done a few little programs at Moree Secondary College, especially our junior campus. We've invited you in a few times to talk to our students. What would you say to our students today? What would you say to all of our students today if you was to say something to them?
Well, I try and stress to them how important it is to get a good education so they can find a good job. Without an education, you haven't got much chance of going ahead in life. You get a good education, buckle down, do your work at school, get a good education, and you can nearly always get a good job.